So today we're going to make a storage box for the crafty individual stamps when they come in their packets like this, so you can keep them in those with the pictures on the front. You'll need some chipboard or some grey board. This is grey board and I get mine from eBay. You'll need 2 pieces of 6x6 and 3 pieces of 5.5x6. That's to make a box that's 6 inches long. You could make the box a little bit longer if you wanted to, but you'll see the construction and then you'll realise where you've got to put the extra measurement if you want to make the box just slightly bigger. You'll also need some construction strips, which are 2 inches wide. You need to score that 2 inches down the middle, and I'll tell you what measurements and how many you need as we go on. Now the construction strips are all 2 inches wide, and you score them down the middle at 1 inch and then fold them. With the valley fold facing upwards, you need to put some double-sided tape on. If you've got 1 inch double-sided tape, then that's fine, you can use that. If you haven't, then you have to put strips on like that of the smaller width tape. I've gone over the edges on this one, but yeah, the 1 inch tape is much better if you've got it, to save you time. I'll put the measurements up on the screen now of how many construction strips you need and what widths they need to be. So you'll need your 6x6 up against your 6x5.5 piece. Take your tape backing off the structure strip and we'll pick this one up, because this is 6 inches. Actually, do it this way. Pop the construction strip down, take it almost up to, not quite up to that score line. Give it a little bit of leeway. Then what you do is you put your other one on. Just giving it a slight bit. So you've got a little gap in between. You need it just to be able to bend the card. I'll let you have a look at that so you can see. Then you want the next construction strip and do exactly the same on the end. Again, not quite to that. Oh, it's not going right, is it? Not quite to that score line. I'm just slightly up from that. I want it. My finger's completely stuck to it. See, none of us do everything perfectly. So that's that one. Then we want the next 6x6 and do exactly the same up against there. That's it. That's going to give us 3 sides of our box. So now we can decorate some. I've started to glue that back, the centre one, with some quick dry Scotch glue. I'm putting a sheet on there to decorate it. It will have a little bit of a gap at the bottom, but I'm taking mine up to the top so we won't see the bottom anyway when everything's in. Pop that on there. I'm using the Crafty Individuals book background papers, the 6x6 Shades of Summer. Lovely papers. And pop that in. So I'm using 2 and 2. We're not going to do those side panels just at this minute. There's a reason for that, which you'll see. The front panel, what I've done here is I've made a mark 1 inch down from the top with the 5.5 inch side at the top, come down an inch and make a pencil mark. Come down an inch on the other side and make a pencil mark, and then draw a line across. And then draw a pencil mark an inch from that side and an inch from the other and make a pencil mark. Bring your pencil mark down to that line that you made, so like that. You won't see it because it'll be decorated after. And then make a pencil mark where those lines meet and then punch a hole. So you'll have your 2 holes there, that's for your closure. Now what we want to do is to decorate this. So now we've got our holes. Again, make sure you come right to the edge with your glue, otherwise it will be coming off. Do find this grey board absorbs the glue a little bit, so put plenty on. Oh, I've got to trim it a second. This is the 5.5 inch panel. Yeah, that's the 5.5 inch size. Just trim that 1/2 inch. Pop that on. Make sure it's all stuck down. Then you can repunch those holes. So I'm using the biggest hole, the 3/16 one, and that's my holes back. This is the back edge, which will face this one, so mirror that one when it's together. So before we decorate that front with the papers, we need to put a structure strip on there. So turn it over from where you've stuck your papers on. You need one of your structure strips, a smaller one, and this is going to make your drop down. If you've got some Tyvek, it might be a good idea to just line this with Tyvek. Again, pop the structure strip down and then pop that panel on top, leaving that gap again where the crease is. Concentration, you see I can't speak and concentrate. There you are. If you're worried about how big the hole has got to be, then you could just put 2 pieces of your scrap that you've got of the board you're using. If you just let me just break that in half, stick 2 of those together. So stick those 2 together just to give yourself a template, and then that will go in there. Double thickness, that will be what you need. That will give us that. Now we've got the structure strip on. We won't need one on the top, that's going to drop down. So we can pop our decorated paper on there. You don't have to decorate the inside with papers if you don't want to. You could paint it. You'd probably need to paint it with some acrylic. So it might be a good idea if you've got any of the multi-medium, the Christine Helmuth or one of those multi-medium, just coat it with that just to seal it. Again, now we've got the structure strips on, that's giving you a nice edge as well there, nice colour. Make sure that's nice and firmly down. Again, you punch your holes again. Now it's all on. Turn it round. That's it. So we've now got our holes. What we're going to do for a closure on that front is use some hair bands. I got a nice big packet from Tesco value ones, they were good. And what you want to do is thread on a paper clip. So all I've done is just catch hold of it and take the band over that middle piece and thread it on. That is going to go at the back, so you can thread it through from the back. Sorry, I'm not in camera very well here. Thread it through from the back and then pull it. Sit the flat side down, the paper clip down on the paper, and just pull it through till it's tight. So again, same the other side. I've done it with these because I know most people have access to these. If I do it with other things, it's hitch posts and things, it's things people have to go and buy especially. So that's what they'll look like. It doesn't look too unsightly. If you want to, you could cover that up. So the next stage is to have the 3 panels there with the structure strips facing towards you. You need to just I've actually changed my mind on the measurement there. So what you need to do is measure down from one side 1 inch and make a pencil mark, down from the top down against your structure strip 1 inch, and then make a pencil mark across so you've got a guideline. Then you need to make a pencil line at the top at 1 1/4 inches, and then bring that line down to the other line. You can see if it's straight. That where it meets the other line that you drew across there is where you're going to put the brad, and you're also going to come in 1/4 inch across that long line, and that's where you're going to put another brad. Next stage, turn that over so you've got your decorated piece there, and we can decorate these other 2 sides now. So I'm going to find my papers and I'm going to pop those 2 on there. They should fit, they're 6 by 6, so what we need to do then, turn it over. So now we're going to put the holes for the brad. So where your line met the longer line that you drew, that needs to go through. So make your hole, and then on that 1/4 inch mark that you made, make another hole. Do the same the other side. Next stage, so turn that over so your paper clips, couldn't think of the name then, paper clips, my age, it's my age, I blame it on that, nothing else. Right, that downwards, so you've got your paper clips facing upwards. Then your structure strip needs to go in, I'm going to turn it around that way, otherwise I'll be blocking your view. Structure strip down in this side, that's too long, I need a smaller one. Would have to be the one with all the sticky strip on, wouldn't it? So let's have that off there. I like to put 1 inch each side on a structure strip because then I know it's really staying put. Otherwise I get a bit cagey that it's going to come apart. So next structure strip on, I should lay it out like this, lay it out flat, that's the easiest. Again, you need your little gap. If you want to use your little card, then it's a bit difficult in this bit because you've got to put that on the top. But pull that on the top, set it onto the top of the card there, and then pop it in. Now this flap is just going to flap up and down. It's not attached, so don't worry about that one. So that's in there nicely, and then turn it round and do the same on the other side. A bit more fiddly this time because we can't make it completely flat. The more accurate you are with these structure strips, the nicer it's going to look when it's finished. Again, bring that up and stick that down. So the next part is to stick on your papers. You can bring it right to the edge this side and have a bit more of a gap over that side if you've got any gap. Bring it right to the edge on here and the top. So I'll do that on both sides. So that's my box all covered now. I've done the back and the sides. All I'm going to do now is get my sanding block and sand the top. So I'm going to sand the edges of this, distress it a bit, take that raw edge off that the board. Let me move the camera a little bit, I'm a bit low. So yeah, sand it to make it smooth. This is a coordinations block. Then I'll probably ink just the top, and the sides I'll do as well on these sides. You made your holes, the brad, so just get your tool and go through again to the other side this time, and this side. I wouldn't do anything until you've left it a while anyway to dry properly. End up tearing the paper up if you don't. Then your brad will go in. Make sure you don't put the brad in all the way, just leave it just slightly out. Bend your prongs over at the back, but don't put it in tight. And the other one, I did have two out, but what I've done with it, goodness knows. Pop the other one in as well. Nice sparkly numbers these. Yeah, try to leave them so that you can get your elastic band around them. So I'm going to decorate the rest of mine now. Your closure, you'll just put it round that outside one to tie it up, and then if you want to drop it a little bit, if your box is full of stamps and you want to drop it slightly to pull your stamps out of the box, then you can drop it down to there and then do it back up, or you can drop it right down, whichever you want to do. The tabs that need to go in need to be 7 3/4, sorry, by 5 1/4. They'll come out the top slightly so that you can flick through, file them into different categories. And I'll finish decorating mine and put a picture of it on my blog, so if you want to pop over there, and then you can see what it looks like when it's finished. So I've finished the box now. I've changed the elastic bands around for some better coloured ones that go with the box more. I did the dark ones to show you what it looked like. I've put some decoration on the front, used the Crafty Individuals stamp and a die cut there, and some flowers, some feathers. Done that on the front. I put just this edge in, round the edge, on top and bottom. Done the Crafty Individuals stamp at the back. I did decide I would cover those the paper clips up, so when you drop it now, actually what I did was just cut out a border and then embossed it and inked it and then stuck that over the top. So you could do that if you wanted to. If you want to, you don't want to have this drop front and just make it a box, you just need another 2 structure strips, 2 by 6 ones. So mine's like that. If I want to drop it forward when my index cards are in, I can just put the elastic bands on the first brad and that will drop it down and drop it forwards for me that way, like that, and then that enables me to pull those cards forward. the index cards I've done 7 3/4 by 5 1/4, and what I've done is just I've made 2 pencil marks from the top, 1/2 inch down, popped a pencil mark across. The tabs at the top are 1.5 inches, so if you do 2 with the 1.5 inch tabs at either end, then I've rounded the corners. Do the 2 at the ends, and then you can just stagger the ones in between across the top to make them all going across. What I'm going to do is take one over there, so I'm just going to measure 1.5 inches. Oh, there's my pencil broken again. Across there, and make a pencil mark up like that, and again, and then I'm just going to cut it with a knife, and I should have just a couple of passes, and then we can that's going to make our tabs. You can sit your stamps in between there. I've just stamped some images and crafty individuals. So I'm going to make one vintage, one background, that sort of thing. And just round those corners. Yep. Makes it look a little bit more finished off. You can always ink around the edges of the cards as well. They're then going to sit in there, so you just get all your stamps. I've got some packets here, there's no stamps in them at the minute, but you know, just whatever you want to put. I can put Christmas, I'm going to write in there, and just pop your stamps in between wherever you want to put them, and that's how they'd be. So I'll be able to find my vintage ones, my backgrounds, and that's going to be really handy. So I hope you have a go, and I hope that you find it useful, and I'll see you again for another tutorial.